So I've made my decision. I did some real thinking about it, and I wanted to run this by you instead of just ghosting you because I did have some respect for you despite having to make a difficult choice. What it comes down to is that there are consequences for every action, and for some choices and individuals, this applies more than others. Not deciding is still making a choice, and some things are just unforgivable, quite frankly. This is why I've decided to take a more reserved approach to meeting new friends, especially lately, because, as I explained, there are a lot of eyes on me, and when I make certain choices, it sets a precedence. It sets a certain precedence for not only how I'm willing to act or be treated, or who I want around, and what I'm willing to compromise on, but this also affects outcomes for other trans women, even if they would do things differently than I. So, I hope that makes sense, because all that is the most important part. Now I'm going to get really blunt here. You can get offended, or you can learn my perspective, or you can blow me off. I really am going to try not to read a response just as I don't demand or expect you to even read this. But this is how I really fucking feel. If I just am cool with my friends justifying Trump being the president, justifying his abuse and corruption and his misogyny and racism, and not just personality, but also we discussed policy that includes the repeal of Roe versus Wade and trans bans and laws that could land me in prison for something as benign and necessary as using a bathroom. I feel like you justified all the systemic abuse I've been seeing just for the fact you did kind of financially alright during COVID while most people's worlds were shattered. It's extremely selfish of you, in my honest opinion. The tariffs made our economy extremely unstable for years up until recently, and tax cuts for the rich haven't trickled down since Reagan introduced that whole scam. By the way, inflation just hit the lowest it's been in 3 years. I saw that in the news today. I have to move on for my mental health and to set a healthy boundary. Trump and the Republicans have tried to destroy the Constitution and civil rights of minorities and women for decades. And it's just one thing I need to know is that people I am around actually have my back on and aren't going to stand for that shit. And I'm not some shrieking retarded woke scold either. I'm not PC by any means. But I know too well at 37 years old how things play out when we give the religious far right the benefit of the doubt and drink the Kool-Aid where they ramble about social issues and justify church and schools and taking from the poor and minorities but offering normal working class people nothing. I mean, I could maybe disagree even and just debate on fiscal policy, but Trump and the Republicans are wagering everything on being bigoted, sexist, and hating the poor while denying science, and it's just unacceptable. But to defend Trump, he is a rapist. He forcibly put his finger in a woman's vagina, and that is rape. Just back then, the punishments needed to be harsher instead of dismissing it as SA. He settled in court. He did it. This is a thing that actually happened, and you're just cool with that? What if a politician did that to a woman you care about? Do you have any actual compassion for women who are violated and exploited by rich and powerful men like Trump? I don't understand how you are just okay with that or deny the evidence. This is not hard to find sources on either. It's no surprise he stacked the court with hateful judges that want to repeal my rights as an LGBT person and as a woman. It makes sense why he appointed judges with accusations of sexual predatory behavior against them that, by the way, are very believable. This is not a joke. I don't want a fucking debate. I want to be safe from predators like Trump and people who enable rapists. This is a scary, fucked up world for women, and that includes trans women. Make absolutely no fucking mistake about that. I think you supporting and defending monsters like Trump is a terrible choice. Unfortunately, I believe either way, I will face the consequences of your choice more than you ever will. And I feel fairly confident to say that for me to not cut loose would have negative consequences and set a negative precedence for me and for other trans women. Therefore, I must uphold that I cannot be friends with someone who will make excuses for Trump and the unforgivable things he has done and wants to continue to do. I just hope that once he is gone and some sanity is returned to the room, that more people can catch on and stop gobbling up such reactionary, destructive, and hateful propaganda that is creating more people like him. I'm not going to wait around and fuck around and find out. I'm not going to risk putting myself in that position again. And I honestly think you should do better. I am so disappointed. You didn't seem like that kind of guy, but I guess I was wrong. You seemed like a good guy, but a nice person sometimes makes an effective enabler, canceling out any good that person could do. Please think next time about what position you are going to take rather than feeling the need to ignore and avoid it, because these issues don't just go away for women and trans people or for the poor when we ignore them. Even if we're playing a game that works as a distraction long enough to make our lives less painful, it's always in our face, at least at some point in the day. I don't think you have any idea what it is like for us. Thank you for the games. I did have fun. Please don't try to hit me up. I would appreciate if I can just kind of slip out without much said, but really, you can do what you need to do. I will not hold a grudge. I just need to protect my space.